the scam behind buy now, pay later, and why it's not your fault. Picture this. You are lying in bed, scrolling through your phone, and you end up on your favorite clothing website. You add a jacket, some shoes, and maybe a couple of accessories to your cart. You click the checkout button and the total hits you like a brick. $250. Your brain immediately hesitates. You know you shouldn't spend that much. You know rent is due next week. Your finger hovers over the exit button. But then, right below the total, you see a glowing, brightly colored button offering you a magical escape. It says, pay in 4 interest-free installments of $62.50. Suddenly, your brain does a little dance. $62? That is barely a night out. That is just groceries. You aren't spending $250. You are only spending $62 today. You click buy, the dopamine rushes into your brain, and your package is on its way. You just used buy now, pay later. Welcome to the fastest growing, most seductive financial trend of our generation. Apps like Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm have completely taken over the internet. They are integrated into almost every checkout page, from fashion retailers to airlines and even grocery delivery apps. They market themselves as the anti-credit card. They claim to be a budgeting tool for the modern, financially conscious consumer, a way to get what you want now without getting trapped in predatory interest rates. It sounds like a win-win. It sounds like free money, but the reality is far darker. Buy now, pay later is not a budgeting tool. It is a highly engineered psychological trap. It is the modern-day equivalent of the predatory payday loan, dressed up in millennial pink and aesthetic user interfaces. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain and expose exactly how this system works. We can break down the hidden scam of buy now, pay later into 3 undeniable, highly profitable realities. 1. The psychological hack, erasing the pain of paying. To understand why buy now, pay later is so dangerous, you have to understand a fundamental concept in behavioral economics called the pain of paying. Human beings are naturally loss-averse. When you hand over physical cash for an item, your brain actually registers a mild form of psychological pain. You are physically watching your resources deplete. Credit cards numb that pain slightly by making the transaction invisible, but you still saw the large total at checkout. Buy now, pay later doesn't just numb the pain, it completely amputates it. By fracturing a large, intimidating number into 4 tiny, bite-sized pieces, these apps hack your brain's perception of cost. When you see that pay in 4 option, you fall victim to what psychologists call present bias. You get 100% of the item right now, but you only feel 25% of the financial impact. Your brain disconnects the immediate reward from the future consequence. You convince yourself that you are essentially getting the item at a discount today, and future you will somehow have plenty of money to handle the remaining payments. This psychological trick is so effective that retailers are obsessed with it. Statistics show that when a website adds a buy now, pay later option, their conversion rates skyrocket, and the average order value increases by anywhere from 30% to 50%. Let that sink in. People are not using this tool to budget for things they were already going to buy. They are using it to buy 50% more stuff than they originally planned. You are not outsmarting the system by splitting your payments. The system is outsmarting you by tricking you into consuming more depreciating junk that you cannot afford. It is a machine designed to lower your financial friction to 0. 2. The phantom debt and the late fee trap. The defenders of buy now, pay later always use the same argument, but it's interest-free. As long as you make your payments on time, it doesn't cost you a dime. On paper, that is true. If you are perfectly disciplined, never lose your job, never have an unexpected medical bill, and never overdraw your checking account, it is interest-free. But these billion-dollar tech companies are not running charities. They know human nature better than you do, and they are betting against your perfection. Here is how the trap actually functions in the real world. Because the payments are so small and automated, people do not just take out one buy now, pay later loan. They take out 5 or 10 or 15 of them at the same time. You use Klarna for your sneakers, Afterpay for your skincare, and Affirm for a new monitor. Suddenly, your checking account is being hit with random $25 and $40 charges every few days. It becomes impossible to track. You have essentially turned your past impulses into a barrage of monthly subscriptions. Then one day, your paycheck is a day late or you forget to transfer funds. A payment bounces. Boom. You are hit with a late fee. Depending on the platform, these fees can be incredibly aggressive. Some apps charge a flat fee, while others charge a percentage of the purchase. If you miss a $25 payment and get hit with a $10 late fee, You just paid an effective annualized interest rate that would make a mafia loan shark blush. And it gets worse. For a long time, buy now, pay later was considered phantom debt. It wasn't reported to the major credit bureaus, meaning banks and lenders couldn't see how much debt young people were actually drowning in. But that is changing. If you default on these payments or fall too far behind, these apps will absolutely send your account to a debt collection agency. They will torch your credit score. We are now seeing a massive wave of Gen Z and millennial consumers who are being denied car loans or apartment leases because their credit was destroyed over a $60 makeup palette they bought in 4 installments. The apps sell you the illusion of flexibility, but the moment you slip, the financial penalties are ruthless. 3. The hidden merchant tax, you are paying for it anyway. Even if you are the perfect user, even if you never miss a payment and never pay a single late fee, you are still paying for buy now, pay later. To understand why, you have to ask a simple question. If they aren't charging you interest, how are these multi-billion-dollar companies making their money? The answer is the merchants. When you use a normal credit card, Visa or MasterCard charges the retailer a processing fee of around 1.5% to 3%. But when you use buy now, pay later, companies like Klarna or Afterpay charge the retailer a massive fee, sometimes between 4% to 7% of the total purchase price. Why on earth would a store agree to give up 7% of their revenue? Because, as we established in reason number 1, the psychological hack works so well that people abandon their carts less and spend drastically more. The retailer happily pays the 7% fee because the algorithm is tricking you into spending 40% more money. But here is the macroeconomic reality. Retailers operate on tight margins. If their payment processing costs suddenly double because everyone is using buy now, pay later, they do not just absorb that loss out of the goodness of their hearts, they raise the prices of their products. This means the cost of this free financial service is baked into the sticker price of the clothes, electronics, and cosmetics you buy. Every single consumer is subsidizing the buy now, pay later industry through stealth inflation. Even if you are financially responsible and pay for your items upfront in cash, you are paying a higher price to cover the fees generated by the people splitting their payments. The service is never free. The cost is just hidden in the ecosystem. And we haven't even talked about the final, most dystopian layer of this business model, data harvesting. These apps are not just payment gateways anymore, they are shopping ecosystems. When you download their apps, they track your browsing habits, your purchasing history, and your price sensitivity. They know exactly when you are most vulnerable to making an impulse purchase. They use push notifications to show you items you were looking at last week, conveniently reminding you that it is only $15 today. They are building a massive, highly detailed psychological profile of your spending habits and monetizing it. You are not just the consumer. Your data and your impulses are the actual product. So, where does this leave us? Buy now, pay later is brilliant from a business perspective. It is one of the most effective psychological consumption engines ever built. But for the average person, it is a devastating wealth destroyer. It normalizes the idea that you should finance depreciating consumer goods. Let's establish a very harsh but very necessary financial rule of thumb. If you have to go into debt to buy a hoodie, you cannot afford the hoodie. If you have to finance a dinner, a concert ticket, or a pair of shoes, you are living beyond your means. Credit and leverage should be used to buy assets, things like real estate, education, or a business that will make you money in the future. Using debt to buy fast fashion is a fast track to permanent financial anxiety. The next time you are at a checkout screen and you see that brightly colored Pay in 4 button, I want you to pause. Recognize what is happening. The algorithm is trying to disconnect the pain of paying from the dopamine of buying. It is trying to turn you into a reliable stream of future cash flow for a tech company. Close the tab, wait 24 hours. If you still want the item tomorrow and you can actually afford to pay for it in full, then buy it. But do not let a sleek app convince you to mortgage your future for a momentary thrill today. If this breakdown changed the way you look at online shopping, hit the like button and share it with that one friend who is entirely too obsessed with Klarna. Subscribe to the channel for more content that exposes the financial traps built into our modern world. Let me know in the comments, what is the craziest thing you have ever seen someone finance using buy now, pay later? Stay smart with your money, and I will see you in the next video.